I'm going to talk about ratios. Ratio are a comparison of two quantities or amounts by division. So, for example, if you look at what I've got right here, I have 3 erasers and 6 pencils. So if you were to ask for the ratio of erasers to pencils, you would see that the ratio is 3 to 6. Because I have my 3 erasers and my 6 pencils. Now, you can actually write these ratios 3 different ways. You've seen the first way, which is by using the colon. The second way is to use the word to, 3 to 6, as a comparison. And the third way would be to use a fraction, 3 to 6. Now, what you might notice, especially when this is in fraction form, is that this is not in simplest form. We can actually simplify our ratio to be better understood, more easily understood. So, looking at everything that I have here, I notice that both my erasers and my pencils can be divided by 3. I have 1, 2, 3 here, I have 3 here, and I have 3 here. So what I can do is I can divide this 3 over 6 by the fractional one, 3 over 3. 3 divided by 3, 6 divided by 3. Let's take a look at what that's going to look like using our actual manipulatives. I'm going to take my 3 erasers and divide them into 3 different groups. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Then I'm going to take my pencils and I'm going to evenly divide my pencils into 3 groups. 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. As long as they don't roll away. So when we divided the 3 erasers into groups of 3, we got 1 eraser per group. When we divided our 6 pencils into groups of 3, we have 2 pencils per group. So the simplified ratio of erasers to pencils is actually 1 to 2. You could say 3 to 6, but 1 to 2 would be the most correct answer because that is simplified down to its most basic form. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you this picture. Let's make sure we can see the whole thing. And on the form, what you're going to do is you are going to tell me the ratio of circles to stars. Make sure that you put it in as circles to stars, because if you tell me stars to circles, that's going to be incorrect. So this is going to be the first question that you're going to answer on forms. Circles to stars. Except don't use this because this is just the picture. Okay? We can also get ratios from using data. So if I were to poll a group of students, and if I were to ask them their favorite genre, let's say 6 students said sports, 5 students said history, 4 said mystery, and 5 students said fantasy. So if I were to look and try to figure out, well, what's the ratio of students that like fantasy compared to all the students? The first thing I would have to look at is I would have to look at what is the fantasy number. And it turns out that the fantasy number is 5. So there are 5 students that like fantasy. Now I'm trying to compare that to all of the students who were polled. So what I have to do for that is I have to add up all of these numbers to get the total number of students. So I know that 5 plus 5 is 10, and I know that 6 plus 4 is 10, so that makes 20 students total. That does not look completely reduced to me. So I'm either going to use my GCF knowledge, or I'm going to look and just use my divisibility rules knowledge and see that 5 goes into 5, which is pretty obvious, and 5 also goes into 20. So I'm going to try reducing this by the fractional one, 5 over 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So the ratio of students that like fantasy books compared to all of the students is 1 to 4. And you don't forget that you can also write it different ways. The second question that you're going to be asked on forms is the ratio of students who like mystery. compared to all students. You'll also see links down below that will link to some things that might help support this video, including the reducing fractions video and probably also divisibility rules. So you're going to see a couple extra links down below. Feel free to check those out if you think it will be helpful.